This Aberdeen FC Manager Search Special is supported by and brought to you by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And also by Craig International, who recently sponsored brand new kit bags for West End FC, an Aberdeen-based boys and girls football club. The kids, whose ages range from 6 to 19, are absolutely thrilled with their new bags and will no doubt put them to good use. I think it's fair to say a few packed lunches could fit in there. Hi everybody, how are you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Tuesday night. So here we are on what is the second show. So last night we did Jimmy Thielen and the views have blown my mind. We've done over 1,500 views on that show alone. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed the show. And more importantly, I hope you're enjoying the concept. The idea behind the show is just to simply look at those candidates who have been touted for the Aberdeen job. And we're just doing a sort of a closer look at them more than anything else. So tonight, it's all about Alex Neil, who obviously has, from what I understand, this is what I understand, that the club have already spoken to him. Now, it's to be confirmed or not whether he turned us down. Nobody actually knows, but the general consensus is that he did. But I still think it's worth doing a chat on him tonight because, again, from what I understand, he was one of 3 on a shortlist that the Football Monitoring Board made for themselves. So if you want to get involved, because tonight is a live debate, and so I'm very much looking for your participation this evening. All you have to do, as always, underneath the video box is just leave your comments and I will read them out as we go along tonight. Like last night, there's no time restrictions, so we can do as little or as much as we want, really. But I very much want you to interact with each other and get involved in the show tonight. So let's find out a little bit more about Alex Neil. Hang on, before we do anything. Let's get these puppies on. So, let's have a wee look. 42 years old, won promotion with Hamilton back in 2014. He also won promotion with Norwich in season 2014-15 at the age of 33. And he won promotion back to the Championship with Sunderland via the playoffs after only 5 months in charge of the club. But let's also not forget that he was sacked by Norwich. He left Preston in March 2021 with the club languishing in 16th place in the Championship. And he was sacked by Stoke after only 18 months in charge. They were 20th in the table at the time. So, hang on, what's happened with the camera? Okay, there we go. So I've put together his win percentage stats. So at Hamilton, his win percentage was 54.55%. At Norwich, it was 41.67. At Preston, only 37.70. At Sunderland, 50%. And at Stoke, only 33.33%. So his overall winning percentage as a head coach is 41.42%. So, what do we think of him? Would he be the right fit for Aberdeen? Should the board continue to look at him? Should they readdress him? What do you guys think? Has that ship sailed? If we readdressed it, like what we have done with Jimmy Thielen, would it make us look desperate? What do you guys think? So get in touch. So let's open it up and see how you're doing. Right, because tonight is all about you guys. So Fraser Gunn is on. He's wishing everyone a very good evening. Oh, and Gavin Wilson, amazing. So Gavin Wilson has just signed up to the ABTV membership scheme. Gavin, thank you so much. That's absolutely fantastic. What Gavin has basically done is made a very small financial contribution to the channel, which helps me build the channel here going forward. And I'm hoping to make an announcement very soon about what your contributions have gone towards and how it will hopefully help me make this channel an awful lot better than what it currently is. And if it wasn't for your contributions, we wouldn't be able to do that. So Gavin, drop me a wee note. You know where to get me. And I would like to thank you personally. So thank you so much. Okay, Fraser Gunn came back to say, an appeal about Neil for me, it could be similar to when Dell came in. Experienced manager up here and south, good contacts, something to prove. Chance to look at the squad before taking over like Dell. Sugarland has said, here's an idea for an episode in its own right. Lessons to learn from this season and how not to make the same mistakes again. I like that. We could look at that. He goes on to say, specifically allowing a signing policy directed to Europe, leaving the club incapable of competing in their own domestic league. Richie Mickey McMillan, how you doing, fella? Come on, you Reds, second night, let's do this. David Gold has wished everyone a good evening, as has Mark Robertson. He suggests tonight's show will be an interesting one. Pittodrie and Turd. Makes me laugh every night. 2 nights in a row. Oh, mate, we're going to take a wee rest tomorrow and we're coming back on Thursday as well. And I'm going to be a wee bit controversial on Thursday, I've decided. Oh, I'm going to have to stick my tin hat on, I tell you. Cairnwell Metal Detectives is saying, fit like dandies. Barry Cool is wishing all dandies a very good evening. David Gold says, Scott Burns, when I asked on X last week about the 3-man shortlist, said Alex Neil wasn't one of them. He also ruled out Uwe Rosler, who went on to sign a new contract with his club, Aarhus. He certainly did. Gavin Wilson has said, I'm on the fence with Alex Neil. Gordon Keith Ritchie has said, hi, all we need to appoint a new manager soon to assess the squad and get planning for next season. Come on, you Reds. Paul Donaldson is also wishing you all a very good evening. Pittodrie and Turd came back to say, please, no to Alex Neil, journeyman. West Coast Dawn has come on and is wishing everyone a very good evening and asking how you all are. Fraser Gunn said, I do like the idea of Jimmy Thielen and something left field, but before that, and when Neil was floated out there, I was keen. He has a reputation of giving youngsters a chance. Barry Cool said, same, sacked from every job since Norwich, walked out on Sunderland to join Stoke. So you're not keen. Stuart McIntosh has wished everyone a good evening. Chris Conway has said, good evening, Ali. Good evening, Chris. West Coast Dawn has said, I like the idea of a high-pressing 4-3-3 of Thielen with a fast physical team. Andrew has come on and said, rumours today that Serie A teams are tracking Connor Barron, Sassuolo and Cagliari. What are my thoughts? To be honest, if they come in with decent fees, let the kid go. That's what I think. I think if he... Look, I don't think any football club should stand, and I'm not suggesting that they are, but what I'm saying is I don't think they should stand in the way of any young player having an opportunity to go and live and play abroad. Would he be a loss? I'm not sure. I like Connor as a player. I think he's got a lot to give. But I think, for example, on Saturday against Livingston, I think because of the physical presence of Livingston, I think he struggled a bit to get into the game. And I think sometimes he is guilty of going missing in games. But I like him, and I do think he can offer a lot. And when he's on it, I think he's a super player. I really, really like him. But if one of those two teams was to come in and offer decent money for us, and as you know, we have been guilty of the past of underselling our players. We have to make sure that the fee is right for the football club. So, good luck to the lad. That's what I say. Brian McRae said, good evening, Andy. Looking forward to this one tonight. Alex Neil was my main candidate for the job. SITV has said, I don't want Neil. He walked from Sunderland to join Stoke and he'd walk out of Aberdeen at the first chance. SITV came back to say, Thielen or a foreign manager for me. Kevin Turner has said, in my opinion, he's no better than the other stock Scottish managers that are linked with every job under the sun. We need something different, and I reckon Thielen is the way to go. West Coast Dawn said, Thielen excites me way more than Alex Neil. Barry Cole came back to say, the thing we have to remember is any manager that comes in and is a success will move on to bigger and better things. Yeah. SITV has said, Sunderland are bigger than Stoke. Yeah, I take that. I absolutely take that. I must admit, I don't know if you saw the Netflix series, the latest one, Sunderland Till I Die. Is that what it's called? I love all those documentaries. I really, really enjoy them. I love the sort of the up close and personal, fly on the wall documentaries at football clubs to see how they work. Really get into the crux of a football club. And I thought the one with Alex Neil was really good. A little bit short for me. It was only 4 episodes, I think, but a very good watch, a very interesting watch. Sugarland has said, Norwich fans have a decent enough opinion of Alex, but felt he'd gotten a bit stale. Not unlike our Deke in that respect, the equivalence is noticeable. Tutty Tree and Tur came back to say, I agree, Thielen is for me. David Gold has said, he's a better option than Lennon, but we need someone who wants to be here. Exactly, that's a very good point. Brian McRae has said, I would say the ship has sailed with Alex Neil. West Coast Dawn has asked, what was Derek's win ratio when the Rangers were not in the league? Don't have a clue, mate. Mark Robertson has said, ship sailed, hasn't done anything of note since 2016 and hasn't progressed, hasn't shown any long-term commitment to any team. Good point. Chris Conway has said, I would hope we haven't approached Alex Neil. We need to get away from the usual suspects. I'm hoping that the hold-up with Thielen is down to his club and not him. Scott Barron. Barron? I think it's Scott Barone, actually. I really hope I've pronounced that correctly. You have also signed up to the ABTV membership scheme. So, Scott, thank you so much. Absolutely blown away. 2 of you have signed up to the membership scheme tonight. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm flattered. Mate, get in touch, drop me a note, and I'll come back to you. Oh, how exciting. Lewis Sutherland has said, evening everybody, I think it's time to have bigger ambitions than another run-of-the-mill Scottish manager. Just another journeyman manager in my honest opinion. The musical box says, hey guys. Can't be bothered has said, let's have done with it and get Dwight York in. Remember he promised us Champions League football. Mark Robertson has said, Neil Warnock for your Thursday episode. Chilling has said, so it'll be Neil Lennon on Thursday then. I've really toyed with it. I've really, really toyed with it today. And I've even spoken to a couple of pals and said, I'm seriously thinking about doing a Neil Lennon show on Thursday night. And there was a couple of them, their sort of reaction was the same. They all went, but I think I'm going to do it because I'm fascinated by it all. You know, I get the bad side of Neil Lennon. I understand that. Absolutely, I do. I understand the baggage. And there's a lot of it. But I'm also trying to think positively. So hence why I think I'm going to do it. Or am I? I don't know. John Moore makes an excellent point. Is Alex Neil still out of work? If they wanted him, we could have had him in by now. Bob Duff. I'll be careful what I say here, Bob. He said, did you see those folk on AFC chat with a photo of a private jet at Dice with a couple getting off? They reckon it's Thielen arriving. Who knows? Task Viewer said, after all this time, it would be so underwhelming to employ Alex Neil or any manager from Scotland, but then Aberdeen are masters at getting it wrong. So let's remind ourselves, okay? 69 days since Barry Robson was sacked. A month since Neil Warnock up sticks and left. And we are still nowhere nearer appointing the club's new permanent manager. John Grant has said Thielen looks far more attractive proposition than Neil. Baz Strachan has asked, did Chris Coleman get back to you last night? He did. And I'll tell you exactly what he said. Hang on. Where is he? Chris. There he is. He said, no truth in the rumour whatsoever, with a big smiley face. There you go. He's hoping to go back abroad. An ABTV exclusive. Chris Coleman will not be the new Aberdeen manager. Ba-boom. Right. Can't be bothered has said, an interesting one is Jack Wilshere. Probably a bit inexperienced, but apparently thought highly of as a coach. Not for me. Not for me. That's going down the same route as Stephen Glass. Might be highly thought of as a coach, but absolutely no experience whatsoever. Barry Cooler said, Thielen for me, hope we get him and DC backs him and keeps himself out of team affairs. Mr. Orc has wished everyone a good evening, particularly all you Dons fans. The musical box has said, Barron will leave with a 500 grand compensation for training fee attached. SITV has said, Connor as a free agent, so only will get development fee. Correct. Yeah, sorry, you're quite right. Richard Mickey McMillan has said, would like to see Jimmy Thielen high pressing, not scared to have a go at the ugly sisters, get into them. David Gold is asking, is Thursday going to be about Neil Lennon with an emoji of two hands covering a face? AFC Mitchell has said, very doubtful he's in the running. I think the club are being directed towards a European coach from the recent review carried out. John Morris said, I'm worried we are again putting all our hopes in Jimmy. What if this drags out, then he doesn't come? Where are we then? Here, 500 grand training camp for Barron. He's off, good player, but too inconsistent. Mike Robertson has said, out of contract is he not? I think we just get 500k. Yeah, that's correct. He is, yeah, sorry, my mistake. Forgetting. Phil McLean has come on and said, hi everyone, unpopular opinion, but he says Neil Lennon. Paul Donaldson has said, I don't know if Alex Neil has allegiances one way or the other when it comes to the Glasgow clubs, but the worry with a Scottish manager is they could be a bit overawed whenever we play either of them. Martin Smith has said, I'm not convinced about Neil. He has gone downhill in his last few appointments. Also worried he brings an inferiority complex when it comes to the competing against the gruesome twosome. Scotty Bludgett has said, a good clear out and grab what you can money-wise. The new manager will hopefully create his own roster. Hewitt Super Sub has asked, what's happened to Mark Fotheringham? Remember, he was rumoured as well. Tutty Tree and Terra said, an Aberdeen documentary on Netflix would be very interesting, especially over the last few months. Wouldn't it just? Scott Farquhar has said, good evening, Dandies. Get the Neil idea in the bin. And also, Barron is going to be another Dean Campbell. Barry Cooler said, Alex Neil doesn't like rowies. Scott Donald has come on and asked me, who would you personally have as the new manager? So, I got to be honest. So, the new manager that I want is obviously totally out with our reach, and that's this Austrian guy, Adi Hütter. But there's no way we're going to get him. So, I have to admit, I am getting more and more swayed by Jimmy Thielen. Tillene. Sorry, Jimmy Tillene. I've said it time and time again. I don't want this Scottish merry-go-round. I really don't. I just don't think it's healthy for the football club. And we absolutely need to think out of the box. We have to. I think for us to progress as a football club, we have to be honest, I think for us to progress as a football club, full stop, we need to think more out of the box, right across the board. And I don't just mean the board of directors. So, yeah, at this moment in time, I think I'd be very happy with Jimmy Tillene. Yeah. Okay. DM has said, good evening, Ali. You are doing one on Lennon on Thursday, aren't you? Still don't know. Pedro73 has said, Alex Neil, if spoken to, he obviously doesn't want the job or he would be here already. X-Feather has said, great job, Ali, as usual. I would like to see Neil Lennon in the role. Do a show on him. Chilling has said, got to be done. Brian McRae has said, it's a huge no from me with Lennon. Sugarland is also not convinced. Cairnwell Metal Detectives makes an interesting point. Sean Dyche will be available at the end of the season, I reckon. Take him. The musical box says, if Tillene flies by private jet, we most certainly can't afford him. Fraser Gunner said, I do think if Lennon came in when Robson left, we would have got top 6, I have no doubts. Barry Cole, amazing. You have also signed up to the ABTV membership scheme. That's 3 of you tonight in the last half an hour. In fact, in the last 20 minutes. Sensational, Barry. Thank you so much. My God, you are really making my night tonight. Thank you. Sensational. Wow. Richard Mickey McMillan still wants Jimmy. Jonathan Livingston, acoustic music, has said, although Warnock was a disaster for whatever reason, I'd like the ambition we've shown in that recruitment and raising our profile. I want to see another mid-highish profile name again. Paul Donaldson has said, I don't know the full circumstances of Neil Lennon leaving Hibs, but I think the risk is he comes in and ends up falling out with too many people in the club. John Moore said, yes to Jimmy, maybe Alex as a second choice. No to Lenny, track record away from Celtic isn't great in my humble opinion. Gavin Wilson says, do it. Lennon is a divisive character, but would do a job. But the fun on the chat with the reaction would make the show. I know, I'm so tempted. Stephen Cowie has said, Neil Lennon and Dave Cormack are both alpha. Once the feel out there would be a massive crater left in the Pittodrie pitch, so never Neil Lennon. Jonathan Livingston came back to say Gordon Strachan hasn't managed for a while, but I'd get behind him as our next manager. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, on Thursday, do the Lennon and Cormac show. Barry Cole came back to say, I thought Barron was off to Grey Skull. Who knows? I really hope he doesn't. Ross Thompson has said, I don't really want Alex Neil. At one time, yes, but not now. Sandra McPherson has said, after retiring from the NHS after 40 years, I would have a better chance of getting the job than Neil Lennon. The musical box said, we won't appoint Lennon after all is said and done. He hasn't done anything since leaving Celtic. Did well in Cyprus, to be fair. Bob Duff said, you might as well do a Dave Cormack episode, Ali, as he clearly fancies himself as the manager. Graham Fayad, I think it's how you pronounce it. Neil Lennon would take the club forward. Harry Butler came on and wished everyone a good evening. He's been watching Asami Charai and his Morocco under-23 side. Won AFCON under-23, playing fantastic football, worth a look, out of a job as well. Stuart Cleary said, good evening, everybody. Alex Neil, no. Neil Lennon, no. Morit goes on thinking European route, just don't have a clue anymore. I know. I think there are a lot of us who are like that at the moment. We're at an absolute loss. We just don't know, do we? Okay, I'll come on to that. John Moore said, surely we're looking for a manager to elevate us to something we can only aspire to currently. Don't think Lennon is that man. Yes, he could do a job, but do we see him taking us to the next level? No. Robert makes a very interesting point. I would like to see Roy Keane. Mr. Ork came back to say, who else checks every day for any news on the manager, or is it just me? Not Lennon for me. I can't get behind him. Remember what he did to Hibs. Pedro73 says on Thursday night he's doing his hair. Oh, now then. So, SITV has just come on and said 3 minutes ago, according to Swedish reports, Elfsborg apparently are looking for replacements. I think we've got our man. Okay. Right. There's a job for you while I go through the rest of you. Have a quick look. And let's see if we can... SITV, keep looking. See if we can find out a little bit more on that. Good work, my man. Good work. Barry Cole has come on to say there was a private plane from Copenhagen came into Aberdeen today, Barry, right? Gary Robertson said, we need a manager who hasn't played or had anything to do with the Glasgow 2. Scott Farquhar is asking, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of reach? I think he would be in terms of wages. Jonathan Livingston came back to say... I think we're about to see a big sell-on fee come our way for Bologna captain Lewis Ferguson. I'm sure it's a 20 to 25% of the transfer fee. We could attract a manager by pledging to reinvest this in recruitment. Sugarland, read more carefully, Ali. Oh, sorry, did I misread your... Sorry, fella. If Neil Lennon was announced, I would not be too against that. Okay, sorry, mate. I hope I didn't give out some false reading there. Please turn up your volume. I can't turn it up any higher. Sorry, I'll try and get closer to the mic. I can't turn it up any higher. Tutty and Turda said, Elfsborg are looking to appoint Oscar... How do you pronounce that? Hielmark as their new replacement. The musical box has said, hit the like button, guys, it helps. Yeah, if you don't mind, guys, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you would like the show. If you like it, just press the old like button. It helps massively with me on YouTube. And also, if you're enjoying the show and you want more content like what I'm trying to bring you, and trust me, we've got a lot of plans, I'd be very grateful if you would consider subscribing to the channel as well. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Thank you, Musical Box, for reminding everybody. Duncan Shand has said, was in the club shop yesterday and never mentioned anything about the new gaffer. Shows I'm burned out, but like Jimmy for the new boss. West Coast Dawn, you've also signed up as an ABTV contributor. Wow, 4 of you tonight. Honestly, as has Chris Conway. No way. Guys, you are the best. You are the absolute best. You are amazing. Thank you. Guys, get in touch with me, please, personally. The musical box said, we certainly need a manager who does not play the same failed system we have used the last 3 years. Chillinger said, Neil Lennon would be like throwing a honey badger in a lion's den. All parties would get it. Come on, then. Rather Decan, I think that's how you pronounce it. Liking the opportunity to comment. Come on, lads, we'll get there. No problem, fella. Keep going. Thank you for coming on. A lot of people are saying, come on Aberdeen, get us excited. It's been a while. Mr. Ork, you have also signed up. Oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. Right guys, so I'm just literally, so just bear with me if I pause for a second. So Paul Donaldson says, I saw this on X, I don't know how you pronounce this, Sport Bladette is saying that Oscar Heelmark could be the new manager of Elfsborg if Jimmy Tillene leaves the club. Okay. Bas Strachan is asking, how about Scott Gemmell, the Scotland under-21 manager? Barry Cole came back to say the page I found said Elfsborg are looking at replacements for Tillene. Okay. Michael Taylor has said, I just hope Jimmy isn't off to Sunderland instead. Jim Balfour, hi Jim, how you doing? He's come on to say, Tillene sounds great, hope the rumours are true. Pretty sure the sell-on for Lewis Ferguson was 15%. Still not too shabby if he goes for 25 million or more. Bigaloot 84. We need to get past Lennon or even consider him. He will bring too much negativity to the team and the club. We will eventually go round the same merry-go-round in 10 to 12 months when it all goes bad. Jonathan Livingston is asking, has there ever been a successful example of a Nordic Scandinavian manager in Scotland? It needs discussed. Eb Skovdal, rest in peace, was interesting, but it did not go well for us the last time. Alan McDonald, amazing. It's just astonishing. You guys are blowing me away. You have also signed up to the ABTV membership scheme. Honestly, you guys are amazing. Alan McDonald said, out of all the named candidates, Jimmy Tillene is the only option to get us out of this mess. Interesting. Bob Duff has said, there were rumours yesterday that Jan Molby, remember him, the ex-Liverpool midfielder and Swedish player, would be Jimmy's assistant along with Scotty Booth, who is currently the manager of... Is he still the manager of Lewis women's football team? I think that was the last thing. I've not spoken to Scott for a while, so I don't know. Jonathan Livingston is asking, do we think Stevie Clarke is out of reach? Even if Scotland had a woeful Euros, I would support and get behind him for manager. West Coast Dawn said, a Swede with a Christian named Jimmy, counter-attacks, presses high. Gavin Wilson has said, with the rumours on here about our Jimmy, I feel like my heart is going to pop. West Coast Dawn has said, hopefully Aberdeen give Tillene the time to work his magic. Thank you, Scott. Let me have a quick look. Sending me let's have a quick look. All right. Okay. So the site is Swede Stats. They said Sports Bladette is saying that Oscar Heelmark could be the new manager of Elfsborg if Jimmy Tillene leaves the club. Derek Ray came back to that tweet and said, this is just my opinion. If Aberdeen can get Jimmy Tillene, I hope they do. He's a coach with a clear concept, gegenpressing adherent, with a track record. Time to move away from old school Scottish football ideas and the belief that new thinking can't work in Scotland. Scott, brilliant. Thank you for sending that. Pedro73 said, Elfsborg manager Jimmy Tillene is sitting on the fence about a potential move to Aberdeen, despite the Swedish side already lining up a replacement. Bob Duff is asking, how do you become a member? Okay, so to become a member of ABTV, there's a small fee to pay. It's about four quid. And what you have to do is you have to go onto a laptop. I don't think you can do it on your phone or an iPad or anything like that. You have to go to a laptop or a PC. Go to my homepage. Underneath the main banner, there's a little button that says join. Press it, a video will pop up of me explaining the reasons why I think you should join and the benefits of joining, and then you just follow the instructions from there. And as I keep saying, any contributions that come in from you guys go right back into this channel. It goes into helping with better equipment, better software, bringing more content. And as I said earlier, I'm hoping to make an announcement very, very soon. Okay, Jim Balfour. Right, okay. So let's get this right. So Jan Molby, ex-Liverpool in Denmark, or Johan Mjällby, ex-Celtic in Sweden. So Bob Duff come back and said it's Jan Molby. Okay. Scott Barona said, get Thelin in no matter the cost. Is exactly what we need. Gary Robertson has said, the only worry about him is if he doesn't hit the ground running, we will turn on him like we always do. We need to give the new manager time. Now, that's an interesting point, which I'm going to read out. I don't know how much of it to believe or not, but I'll read it out. So, Crooked Winkle Picker came on and said, on a different note from the new manager, I've heard that Dave Cormack was quitting and this German consultancy group were taking over. Okay, good stuff. Pedro73, in regards to his what he said before, he said, that's according to Football Direct, relaying information from Sports Bladet, who report that Thelin is yet to share his decision despite the apparent interest from Aberdeen. Okay. Bob Duff has said, Gary, I don't think we will turn on him. He'll get the time. Okay, how long are we... Oh, wow, we're nearly done 40 minutes. Again, another 40-minute show. Just let me check that message that came in. Where is it? Sorry, guys, bear with me. Just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, sorry, guys, bear with me. Okay, right. Anything else come in? No. Right, okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it a night. Thank you so much again for coming on. Absolutely fantastic. I'm blown away by how many of you have signed up to the membership scheme tonight. I think 6 of you. Absolutely astonishing. Your support is incredible. You know, we've done nearly 40 minutes, over 1,500 views last night. I hope we get the same tonight. And look, let's see what happens about Jimmy Thelin. Obviously, it looks like it's moving forward. There's a lot of talk now coming out of Sweden. So let's see what happens in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going to take a night off tomorrow because, well, I'm going to be brutally honest. I want to go to the gym. I need to. I've got my surgery coming up again at the end of the month and I need to be fit. But we will be back on Thursday night. Depending what would have happened over the next 48 hours. We shall see, but I hope you can join us then on Thursday night. Great, guys, thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy your day tomorrow, and I'll see you all again on Thursday. Take care. Stand free.